You are enough right now in this very moment, exactly as you are enough. Size, not after you lose the weight, not after you get the promotion, not after you fix every flaw you have cataloged about yourself in the quiet hours of the night. Right now, as you breathe, gentle as you exist, you are enough. There is a voice inside many of us that runs constantly in the background, like a program that never shuts down. It whispers that we are too much of some things and not enough of others. Too sensitive, not disciplined enough. Too loud in some rooms and too quiet in others. Not smart enough, not talented enough, not put together enough for the life we imagine we should be living. That voice is persistent. It has been with many of us for so long that we have mistaken it for truth. But a voice that has been with you for a long time is not the same as a voice that is telling you something real. Familiarity is not the same as accuracy. And that voice, as familiar as it may feel, is not telling you the truth. The truth is that you were born enough. You arrived in this world complete. A newborn does not lie in the hospital and wonder if it is sufficient. It simply exists, and its existence is, without question, enough. Something happens over the years. Life shapes us. Other people's words get inside us. Experiences leave marks. Comparisons begin. And slowly, quietly, the belief that we are inherently enough gets buried beneath layers of expectation, criticism, and the relentless measuring of ourselves against standards that were never designed with our wholeness in mind. But buried is not gone. That original truth is still inside you. The you that existed before the doubts, before the failures, before anyone told you that you needed to be different to be worthy, that version of you has never left. It is waiting beneath everything else, patient and steady, for you to remember it. I am enough just as I am. Say that to yourself. Let those words move through you slowly, not as a performance, not as something you are trying to convince yourself of through sheer repetition, but as an invitation to sit with the possibility that they might be true. What would change if you actually believed that? What would you stop apologizing for? What would you allow yourself to want, to try, to say, to be, if you genuinely understood yourself to be enough? So much of the exhaustion that people carry is the exhaustion of the performance. The constant effort to appear more capable, more composed, more successful, more interesting, more lovable than we secretly fear we are. We construct versions of ourselves for public consumption and then feel lonely inside them because the version people are responding to is not the full truth of who we are. We ache to be known, but fear that if people knew us completely, they would find us lacking. And so we edit and manage and present, and we wonder why closeness feels so hard to find. You are allowed to be fully known. You are allowed to bring your whole self into your relationships, your work, your life, without trimming the parts you fear are too much or hiding the parts you fear are not enough. The people who belong in your life will not require you to be less than what you are. And the life that is truly yours will not require you to be someone different to live it. I am enough, just as I am. This does not mean that you stop growing. This does not mean that you stop learning, stop striving, stop reaching toward the person you want to become. Growth is beautiful. Growth is one of the deepest joys available to a human life. But there is a profound difference between growing from a place of enoughness and striving from a place of lack. When you grow from enoughness, you move toward your potential because it delights you, because it matters to you, because the expansion itself is worth pursuing. When you strive from lack, you move toward achievement because you are trying to finally become someone who deserves to take up space. One feels like moving toward light. The other feels like running from darkness. And you cannot run fast enough or far enough to escape a darkness that lives inside you. The antidote to that darkness is not more achievement. It is the recognition that you are already worthy of the life you are trying to earn. You do not need to earn it. You are already worth it. Your worth is not a result of your output. Your worth is not contingent on your productivity, your attractiveness, your social standing, your bank account, your relationship status, or any other external measure that the world offers up as evidence of a life well lived. Your worth is intrinsic. It is woven into the fabric of your existence. It was given to you when you arrived here, and nothing that has happened since has taken it away. I am enough just as I am. These words can feel almost rebellious in a world that profits from your belief in your own insufficiency. Consider how much of the economy is built on making you feel like you are lacking something. Advertising is predicated on the idea that you need to acquire something to become someone. Social media is structured in ways that constantly invite comparison, that surface the highlight reels of other lives against the raw and unedited reality of your own. The message, delivered 1,000 times a day in 1,000 different ways, is that you are not quite there yet, that there is some version of yourself, some future you with different habits and a better wardrobe and a cleaner home and a more impressive career and a flatter stomach and a fuller social calendar who will finally be enough. But that future you is a mirage. The moment you arrive at any destination, the bar moves. This is not because you are deficient. This is because the system is designed to keep you moving, to keep you consuming, to keep you feeling like the finish line is always just out of reach. Recognizing this is not cynicism, it is clarity. And from that clarity, you can choose to step off the treadmill. You can choose to plant your feet in the present moment and declare, here, now, as I am enough. This is a practice. It will not feel true immediately, especially if you have spent years in the habit of self-criticism. The mind does not transform its patterns overnight, but every time you gently return to the truth of your enoughness, every time you catch yourself in the spiral of self-judgment and offer yourself something kinder instead, you are laying down new grooves in your thinking. You are building a new relationship with yourself, one that is based on respect rather than constant evaluation. I am enough just as I am. Let this be the lens through which you begin to see your life. Look at your relationships through this lens. The friendships that have endured, the people who return to you again and again, the connections that have survived your worst moments in your most ordinary days. These are people who have already decided that you are enough. They are not waiting for a better version of you. They are here for this version, the one with the insecurities and the imperfect history and the unresolved questions. Allow yourself to receive that. Allow yourself to believe that their choice of you reflects something real. Look at your past through this lens. The mistakes you have made, the things you would do differently, the moments you are not proud of, they are part of your story, but they are not the verdict on your worth. You were doing what you could with what you had at the time. You were a person navigating life with the tools and understanding you possessed in that moment. You have grown since then. You will grow more. But none of that growth retroactively makes the earlier version of you unworthy. That version of you was also enough. Struggling is not the same as failing. Making mistakes is not the same as being a mistake. I am enough just as I am. Look at your body through this lens. Your body has carried you through every single day of your life. It has healed from injuries, fought off illness, held you upright through grief, carried you to the people and places that have mattered to you. It is a remarkable, living, breathing instrument of experience. It does not need to look a particular way to deserve your respect. It does not need to be a certain size or shape to be worthy of care. You are allowed to nourish it and move it and rest it, not because you are trying to change it into something more acceptable, but because it is yours and it is enough and it deserves to be tended to with love. There is something that happens when a person genuinely starts to believe in their own enoughness. The energy that was previously consumed by self-criticism becomes available for other things. There is more space for joy, for creativity, for genuine connection. When you are not spending so much of your internal life managing the gap between who you are and who you think you should be, you have more of yourself available to actually live. This is not a small thing. This is the difference between moving through your days in a kind of constant low-grade strain and moving through them with a sense of ease and presence that makes everything richer. I am enough just as I am. This truth extends into your work, into what you create and contribute and offer. You do not have to be the best at something to do it with meaning. You do not have to be an expert to share your perspective. You do not have to have it all figured out before you begin. The thing you have to offer the world is not some perfected, polished product of yourself. It is you, your actual perspective, your genuine voice, your unique way of seeing and experiencing and making sense of things. No one else has that. No one else can bring what you bring simply by being authentically who you are. That authenticity is not something you have to manufacture or perform. It is what remains when you stop performing. It is what shows up when you stop trying to be what you think people want and allow yourself to simply be what you are. And what you are is enough. What you are is, in fact, exactly what is needed. Not a version of someone else, not a person who has eliminated all their rough edges and difficult qualities. You, with all of it, with the complicated history and the ongoing questions and the areas of growth and the gifts that are entirely your own. I am enough just as I am. Sit with this today. Let it find its way into the small moments of your day, not just the big declarations, but the quiet, ordinary moments when the old voice starts up again and you can gently, firmly, with kindness for yourself, offer a different thought. I am enough. I do not need to prove this. I do not need anyone else to confirm it. It is simply true. You are a complete person. You are not a project to be completed before you deserve love and rest and peace. You are not a rough draft waiting to become a final version. You are not on your way to being someone who matters. You already matter, completely, right now, in this moment, as you are, without any further editing or improving or becoming. This is the truth that the world around you may sometimes obscure but can never erase. This is the truth that was yours before you were old enough to doubt it. And this is the truth you are allowed to reclaim gently and consistently as many times as you need to, for as long as it takes, until one day you notice that it has stopped feeling like something you are trying to believe and started feeling like something you simply know. I am enough just as I am. You are enough just as you are. Let that be enough. There are moments in life when this belief will be tested, when you are passed over for something you wanted, when a relationship ends and the story your mind tells is that you are not enough to make it last. When you compare your insides to someone else's outsides and come away feeling diminished. When you try something and it does not work and the old voice rushes in to say that your failure confirms what it always suspected about you. In those moments, returning to your enoughness is not easy. It requires a kind of courage that often goes unrecognized. The courage to believe in your own worth when the evidence in front of you seems to suggest otherwise. The courage to hold on to your inherent value when external circumstances are not affirming it. The courage to say, this outcome does not define me, this loss does not diminish me, this criticism, even if it contains some truth, does not have the final word on who I am or what I am worth. That courage is real. It is available to you. It is built through practice, through the repeated choice to return to yourself with kindness rather than condemnation. I am enough just as I am. And in being enough, you give permission, quietly and without any grand announcement, for the people around you to also be enough. Enoughness is not something that diminishes when it is shared. It expands. When you release the pressure of performing your worth, you create a kind of ease in your relationships that invites others to exhale too. When you speak about yourself with honesty and compassion rather than with the self-deprecating armor that so many of us use to preempt judgment, you create space for others to do the same. Your willingness to be enough as you are is not just a gift to yourself. It is, in its quiet way, a gift to everyone you touch. So return to this whenever you need it. In the morning when you look in the mirror, in the middle of a meeting when you feel like a fraud, in the quiet before sleep when the mind reviews the day and finds it wanting. Return to this simple, radical, life-altering truth. I am enough just as I am. I have always been enough. And everything I am becoming is growing from a foundation that has always been and will always be complete. You are enough. Say it until you mean it. Say it even on the days you do not believe it. Say it especially on those days. Because the practice of returning to this truth again and again across all the different conditions of your life is itself a profound act of self-love. And you deserve that love, not eventually, not conditionally, now, here, as you are. You are enough.